SCP Drama Alert. Why do SCP authors and content creators hate the Rubber? Primer, the Rubber is one of the most prominent SCP animation channels. At 1.75 million subs, many of you are probably familiar with their work. Many SCP fans enjoy the simplified summaries of SCP articles along with the Rubber's animations. But those who write the SCPs, as well as other SCP content creators, pretty much openly despise the Rubber for multiple reasons. On the subject of their animation style, the Rubber is criticized for animating in a style that is very child-appealing, which doesn't mesh well philosophically with the mature nature of the horror elements often at play in SCP stories. Another common critique is that the Rubber's visuals look very simple and samey, giving the appearance that the channel doesn't care so much about making good art as it does churning out as much as it can as fast as it can to make a quick buck. Bolstering this content farm reputation is the fact that the Rubber doesn't seem to really care about the stories they're adapting. They tend to get a lot of details blatantly incorrect, and often make the author's story worse in the process. The big stink today is twofold. On one hand, they angered an SCP author by changing their explicitly trans characters' pronouns from they-them to he-him. And that hornet's nest was only discovered and stirred up because today, the Rubber dropped their video on SCP-3325 and... What the? Freddy! You're supposed to be on lockdown!
Vanessa, I'm being stolen and shoved into a video about an SCP that has nothing to do with FNAF as a cheap trick to game the algorithm.
Stealing a copyrighted character and shoving it into a Creative Commons story is already gross, but putting Freddy Bear in the title when the word Fred does not appear in the article and there are no bears? Come on, son. Adding that the Rubber is nowhere on social media, does not communicate with or give back to the SCP community, had to be publicly shamed into even following the Creative Commons license and adding links to the articles they were adapting, and no one seems to know who they are. Common consensus among the SCP authors and content creation community is that the Rubber is basically a parasite, shoving SCP stories through a content generation machine to make a quick buck because they can. While they are legally allowed to operate this way, something being legal doesn't make it not a dick move. It's also added insult to injury for the authors and content creators that this ends up being one of the biggest SCP channels. Now, if the Rubber put in the work, did right by the community, I'm sure this could all turn around. I'm always in favor of more art in the SCP community. But until then, can't say I'm a fan. Do better. And as I always say, try your best to support ethical content, people who truly care about the SCP community. Secure, contain, protect.